You know, I'm one who recognizes no one gets anywhere by themselves. 10 years ago, there was just a little poem on the nightstand in our room, and I picked it up. And today, it's worn out, but it's on the console in my car, and it says, "United we can do anything, divided we fall." Now just think about that. We have many publics and we have many constituencies, and if we work with them, we can do anything. We will not be as effective by ourselves. I also want to say thank you to my former KPMG partners. Some are here, the Oklahoma Board, others who have helped me in this endeavor. And am I looking forward to it? No question about that. Ken Bishop is a little nervous, but that's okay. He gets paid for that, all right? And so, why are we here? We are here to improve our skill sets as regulators. You came a great distance to be here. You've suffered in that chair for a day and a half, and you've got another day to go. But you came here to be a better regulator. For that, I thank you and I commend you. I want you to notice that Galen talked about driven. This year we're talking about branding, or I'm talking about branding NASBA and boards of accountancy. By strengthening NASBA's relevance and the brand of your board of accountancy, we will enhance the ultimate mission, public protection. This can be accomplished through many ways, but three I want to focus on: productive outreach, building relationships, and a new challenge. And you heard Karen Pincus speak of that yesterday, attracting the best and the brightest into the profession we regulate. We're more than regulators. We are members of the community that we regulate. We're also members of our home community. We bring untold resources to our communities and to our state. Let's share those resources. Each of you can do that, and it just takes the effort to step out and say, I will make a presentation. And trust me, making the presentation from up here is not all that easy. But I will make a presentation. Call and ask. We will do that. By being the positive force in your community and being involved, you will raise the brand of your board of accountancy. Let me give you some examples. Vicki Petit, she's the current board chair of Oklahoma. She's the CFO, EVP of a $650 million bank. She is the advisory faculty member to the student chapter for the Center for Public Trust at East Central University, the only chapter in Oklahoma currently. She is also very active in her community and in her church and in the banking profession. For all those activities, she was recognized by the Oklahoma Society of CPAs by entrance into the Oklahoma Accounting Hall of Fame. Jose Rodriguez, another example, currently the president of the North Carolina Board of Examiners. Jose was actually a resident of Florida. He was and made the connections to get appointed to the Florida Board of Accountancy. His firm relocated him to North Carolina. You know, he could have just gone about his firm's business and about advancing his own career. But he chose to step back and continue protecting the public by serving on another board of accountancy. He reached out, made the connections that he needed to make to be appointed to the North Carolina Board of Accountancy. In my career, I'm not aware of any other individual who served on two different boards. Jose is not only serving in that role, but he's the chair of the KPMG Foundation, and that's no small task. Also very active with local university, which he's on the advisory committee, and in the civic affairs of his community. Sandy Wilson, she's a former member of the NASBA board, the Alaska Board of Accountancy. She was chair of the ERB. Even get that, that's easier to say. She's been involved in NASBA since the 90s. She travels from Fairbanks, Alaska to a committee meeting. She was recognized by the Alaska Society by being awarded the Public Service Award. She was also was recognized as Volunteer of the Year. She serves as an adjunct faculty member. And think about this. For her to come to a committee meeting in the lower 48, that's a 3-day trip. Enough said. As members of boards of accountancy, let's change the perception of accountants and boards of accountancy. You heard Karen Pincus yesterday demonstrate to you what the image of an accountant is by individuals in secondary institutions. You can be a change agent. We just need to step out. Do that on behalf of your board. Let people know that you're on the Board of Accountancy. People in Ada, Oklahoma know Vicki Petit is on the Board of Accountancy. It will do wonders for increasing the brand and the relevancy of your Board of Accountancy. It will also give you the opportunity to reinforce the mission of your Board of Accountancy, which is public protection. Lastly, think about having board meetings on various university campuses. The Oklahoma Board we've done this for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's really enhanced the relevance of the board to faculties and to students. Because we obviously invite them in. We make sure the administration knows that we're going to be on campus. So it's a big deal to them. And that has been a very effective tool within Oklahoma for raising the relevance and the brand of the Oklahoma Board of Accountancy. I urge you to take advantage of NASBA's communications department. Notice what's on the screen. This was done for the Oklahoma Board, was just released this morning in an email, broadcast email. The communications department will help you with professional newsletters, brochures, videos, annual reports, all specifically tailored for your board. And one of the best things about this is it's free. You saw those dollars we had on the slide about money spent for member boards. That is money spent for member boards, and Tom Kenny and his department are very pleased to do that. So I urge you to do that. Talk with Lisa Solman of the Washington Board, or Pamela Ivey of the Wyoming Board, who are very satisfied customers. Or talk to Randy Ross. He's back there about the 5th row back. He can tell you how satisfied he is with this email that went out this morning. Second point, building relationships. Relationships are a key component to all that we do. In our personal life, our professional life, and as regulators. As regulators, I urge you to step out and create new relationships and enhance relationships that you have. And I know there'll be one or two in here who will say, now he's not thinking straight about our state, but I really am. Meet with your state senator, meet with your House member, the governor's staff. They're more important than the governor sometimes, particularly if you want to get somebody appointed to the board. Even members of your congressional delegation. When you just call, schedule an appointment, let them know who you are, that you serve on a board of accountancy, that you are protecting the public that elected them. They'll be very interested in that. And also, by meeting with the board, with the governor's staff, and they get to know you, you might avoid consolidation. It's a little more difficult, to take adverse action against somebody that you know. So there is a reward there. And also, I can tell, over the years, I've been referred to as an old white guy, but on Friday, and we were talking about diversity. We don't need you, but how I got to be an old white guy was, working with the state society, helping get people appointed, etc. Well, it's so much easier when the appointee knows the state senator. It's a tad bit more difficult when the prospective appointee recommended by the society to the governor not only does not know the state senator, does not even really know which senatorial district in which he lives, and had never made a contribution. Many times I have taken the prospective board member to meet the state senator for the first time. The senator looks up and says, "Oh, hello, Carlos, good to see you, and who have you got here?" Well, this is so-and-so, and he's been recommended by the Oklahoma Society to be appointed to the Board of Accountancy. We'd like to share his bio with you, and we need you to nominate him from the floor of the Senate. That's a bit of an uphill challenge. Develop that relationship. Spend some time with that, and you will be rewarded, and your board will be rewarded. So, and as we go forward with this, build a strong relationship with your state society. You've heard the reference to the state society committee that we've now created. A strong relationship with the state society makes for an efficient and effective legislative program when you need it. Start some conversations with the leadership. Even consider having a summit meeting between the two boards just to talk about areas of common interest and those areas where you don't agree. But at least you'll have a conversation going and you'll have communication. We cannot operate in an isolated environment. And we've seen this from our experience within NASBA. When we have state boards that have strong relationships with state societies, we are much more effective in passing legislation that is important to the public and to the profession that we regulate. Attracting the best and the brightest. I'm going to put that out there before you because that's not something we've really talked about before or discussed or considered it to be our mission. But you heard Dr. Pincus yesterday talk about the perception by secondary students of accountants, and it also was referred to by the two previous speakers. We need the best, brightest in this profession, and the Board of Accountancy can be effective in attracting the best and the brightest. This can be done through several ways, but a strong profession will lead to enhanced public protection. There are 500 AACSB schools. Of that 500, 169 have a school of accountancy. Karen represents one of those. There's several other faculty members here that represent a school of accountancy. What's important about that statistic? 75% of the exam candidates come from those 500 schools. Now think of that. They're north of 3,000 institutions of higher education. 75% of our exam candidates come from 500 of those institutions. I'm not saying don't have a relationship with the other 2,500 if they have a strong Department of Accounting. But obviously, we know where it's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of your firm's fees come from 20% of the clients. So who should you be taking care of? Obviously, that 20%. Well, we should be making sure we have relationships with those AACSB schools and other schools that have a strong Department of Accounting. One of the things we've done, you heard Dr. Pincus, who represented the American Accounting Association. For a number of years, we've had memberships. NASBA has had memberships in the American Accounting Association, but we've never really put a focus on it. 2013, we continued with those memberships. We increased them. We looked at the floor plan of the exhibits section and determined the largest booth was held by one of the publishing companies. We leased enough space equal that largest booth. Now, they put us back at the back. I was concerned about that, but turns out that, because when you walked in, well, you saw these booths of the publishing companies, AICPA, but I think we did some effective planning. By luck, we were next to the bar. So obviously, late in the afternoon, we had traffic, and there was not much traffic up front, except one of the publishing companies actually was serving beer, so we were in a little bit of a competition with them. But we did well, and on Tuesday morning of the meeting, Tom and his group put out a broadcast email to all the faculty, and we announced the winners of the research grant awards. That's money. That means something to a faculty member. So, and in that email it said, come by the NASBA booth to learn more about these. We were swamped. All of us who were attending the meeting were working in the booth to talk with various faculty members. Therefore, obviously, we used the hook, the research grant program, to get them there. But we wanted to make them aware of that, when do they need to submit their applications, etc. However, that gave us the opportunity to showcase our accountancy licensing library, which these people did not really have an understanding of, and the fact that it was free to them. If they wanted to research a statute in a certain state, they could, once they go through the administrative process with NASBA, they can log on and research that statute, and it's free to them. That was an eye-opener to them. Actually, NASBA was an eye-opener to them. They just we had not done a good job of branding NASBA or the boards of accountancy with the faculty. And so we also showcased our Student Center for Public Trust. Alfonso and certain staff members were there to talk about that. And you heard him say this morning that he hopes to have 50 chapters in the near future. We were able to demonstrate our NASBA exam products, which James Suh's group at NASBA produces. And so a faculty could sit down and have a deep discussion with James and learn about their candidates, what sections were they passing, with outstanding scores, what sections were they not passing with minimum scores. They could learn a lot about their graduates by visiting with him, and James can develop a customized report for them. So we were able to do a lot about showcasing NASBA's products and about what we do for state boards of accountancy. And again, by doing that, we raised the level of relevance, and we branded NASBA and boards of accountancy. I urge you to develop a relationship with secondary education program. That's where our students will come from that come into the colleges and universities. We have to have bright people. Reach out and offer to speak to a high school assembly or a group of students who are taking an accounting class. We're moving forward. Dan Dines of Kansas State has a program where he is trying to get, he's training teachers he's north of 700 to teach accounting at the high school level, and it would be that when the students finish that class and they pass the entrance exam or pass the exam at a college and university that recognizes that, they would receive advanced placement credit. And the AICPA and other associations are helping with that. We've told Dan we would be pleased to help him with that and put some resources behind it. Now, I have asked you to do several things. And as part of that, be the go-to person at one of those universities I mentioned, so that Karen Turner, Tom Wyrick, Ray Johnson can pick up the phone and call you as a member of a board of accountancy, knowing that you will take the time to relate to them or their faculty or to a student who may have some issues. You don't have to have the whole board be the go-to person. Assign various board members to different universities. We have found that to be very effective. Now, as we go forth, you've heard a lot from the various speakers. There's certainly nothing new here, but I want to emphasize that NASBA in 2014 will continue with the diversity task force. We're raising that up to the level of a group, and we get that, we'll move it from a group to an ongoing committee. It's a high priority with us. We need to have more people of color and the feminine gender coming into this profession. It was amazing to me to learn when I looked at some of James Suh's results of people who take the exam. There are more women accounting students, but there are more males taking the exam than women. So somewhere we've got a disconnect in there, Jeanette, and I'm not exactly sure where it is, but we got to find that. And we're going to work with that. We are going to reach out, we being NASBA, we're going to reach out to the National Association of Black Accountants, to the various women accounting associations, NAFOA, that's the Native American Financial Officers, the Latino Professional Accounting Association. We will increase our relationships and our strengths with the Financial Accounting Foundation. We're going to, as a part of our, that's going to be a part of our diversity, we're going to work that in. Then Ken Bishop was last week, as a matter of fact, before the council meeting, he attended this is a mouthful, he attended the National Asian American Coalition Conference. Now, what's important about that? What's important about that is, not only was the CEO of NASBA there, the chair of the PCAOB, the U.S. Comptroller of the Currency, the Director of the Treasury, and a Federal Reserve Governor were in attendance. That emphasizes to us the importance of diversity. We will put resources with that. And I've already mentioned that we will continue with the State Society Committee, and that you heard that from Ken earlier in his presentation. One of the things I've discussed with Ken, and we're in the process of making the appointments, we are appointing a leadership development group. This group will develop a process of identifying leaders 2 to 3 years out before an appointment is to be made. Now, I'm not talking about appointments to state boards of accountancy. We're very willing to help you with that. We're talking about appointments to boards that we have influence with that appointment, or a board where we make the direct appointment. We want to identify those leaders, potential leaders, early, meet with them, learn of their interest, then work with them as we develop a toolkit that will showcase their skill sets to other individuals with which they have to interact, or other associations with which that they have to interact. So that will be a very important effort for us in 2014. We will enhance the relationship with FASB, GASB. Oh, it's already been mentioned, but the current chair of GASB is a former chair of NASBA. The PCC, of which Billy Atkinson, who's in attendance, is the current chair. Diane Rubin, a former chair of NASBA, is a member of the 10-person committee. So, and we'll reach out to the Mexican Institute, the Canadian leadership, the various other accounting entities that we need to enhance our relationship, and not the least of which will be the AICPA. There are many common interests that we have. We will agree to disagree, but we will work together on our common interest. So as we enter this year together, I'm asking you to do more. NASBA will do more. We will increase that slide, the amount that will be spent on member boards on that slide, so when you come to Washington, D.C. in 2014, you'll be able to see the amount of dollars that we have increased since 2013. We did that under Galen's leadership in 2012 and 13. So as we go into this year, be proactive, be involved, be heard, be aggressive, be smart, don't be afraid. Thank you. I will be quick about this. Galen's already given me the time slot. But this group sitting over here on the left, that's my family. Now they came a great distance too, but it sure wasn't to learn how to be a regulator. They came to go to the beach, is what they came to do. But my mother, who's 90, this is her birthday present. Mother. Where the hell I can? Oh, there we go. There she is, right there. And her husband, Eugene, he is the grandfather to all of her grandchildren. And in 2014, they will be married 50 years. So, this trip is his wedding anniversary present. I won't have to do that twice. Then my three sisters, who endured a lot since they were younger, and I was rather bossy when we were growing up together. You may stand, please. You know, yeah. And they're all gainfully employed. That's great. One of them had just recently retired, but Bishop, like Ken Bishop, I call him Bishop because of Ken Odom. But Ken Bishops like to talk about being poor. Well, every once in a while, when we do get together, we discuss the poor days. And the one over on the far left over there, Shirley reminded me that, not only did we use pet milk, we couldn't afford whole milk, but that if you wanted a second bowl of cereal, that you had to eat the cereal and save the milk. So as I said to my mother when she saw the suite that we're staying in, I said, it is a bit different than Wilson, Oklahoma, isn't it? She laughed, and that's right. Then our children, Terry, the oldest, she is the benefits manager for Devon Corporation in Oklahoma City. If you follow the energy companies in Oklahoma, I introduced her one time as a benefits manager, and she later said to me, "You need to know, I am the benefits manager." Okay, I got that. So from now on, she's the benefits manager. Our son, Chris, who's a pharmaceutical rep. And where did our daughter go? I lost her. I can't see. Oh, there you are. Stand up. All right. And Stacy, who is a retired school teacher right now, raising 3 children. Chris and his wife Karen, have 3 children, and they've all hit the beach and done whatever 15-year-old kids are supposed to do. Stacy, where's Brian? I can't see him. And Brian is Stacy's husband, and they have 3 children. So they're busy people. And then Pam steps in and helps them whenever their schedules require them to be somewhere else. So our house is known as the Yes House. And all 6 children, the 3 Huff children, the son's children, live within 2 miles. The other set of children live within 20 miles. Well, they know our house as the Yes House. let's call Nan. Let's go over there. You know, nobody says, Nan does not say no. So can you guys get the children, you guys sit down and let the children stand up. Yeah, there we go. And then Pam. What do you say? Would you stand? I don't want to know what that, you know, she obviously, you get here and you didn't get here by yourself. I've already mentioned that. And so she's gone to a lot of chicken and pea dinners. And she said, tell me the ones I got to go to. I said, honey, they're all important, so let's go. So with that, I wouldn't have got it done without her and her guidance from every day, all day. And I'm just pleased to be here. Galen, it's yours.